So we have Ogden High School. And so this is a high school embedded in this community. And I think right down the street is an elementary, Ogden International. So I didn't know this was a high school here. This is where Ogden High School is. And this is Racine here. But the street over there is Ogden. And I'm going to go back around, and this leads into Ogden up here. So we're going to turn down here and go straight, and then we're going to cut back here. And I'll tell you why, because I'm going to show you what somebody did to lower their expenses. And so, and I gotta go down a little bit further, but there's a church right here in this neighborhood, not too far from Ogden High School. And what does the church do with the high school and the elementary school? And here's another college preparatory. So this is 9 through 12. This is another high school. So what does the church do with these high schools, with its youth group? This church right here on Ohio and Ada in Chicago do with its youth group with these high schools, and then there's an elementary school. What does the church do with outreach? Even if they don't go there, the church can work with the high schools in that and offer after-school tutoring and many other things. And they can offer Bible study and many other things. Yeah, you can set up Bible studies in small groups in elementary school and high school. They can set up Bible studies. And the church can reach out to the high school and the elementary school to see if they want to set up Bible studies. They can offer them other groups, diversion programs, and many other things. The church can outreach into the high school, giving them greater resources. So down this street here is another school. And so there's multiple schools here, and this is on Noble. And there's a little corner pub. My friend Mike used to hang out, Noble and Erie. And I thought there was another school right up here on this side. No, it's another church. It's a church. So what are these two churches doing? I thought this was a school, and it's an acrylic. So maybe this is Russian or Ukrainian. And it looks like a church. So the Erie House. But again, it's right here down from the Ogden School. And so I wonder what these churches are doing with their youth group movements and physically reaching out into the churches, into the high schools and elementary schools, helping them set up Bible studies and everything. So this is a church. As you can see, the cross at the top. So there's two churches right here, and there's two high schools, and I think there's an elementary school around here. And what are they doing to reach out to the high schools and elementary schools to get them engaged and offer all kinds of services to the high schools and elementary schools? So we don't grow up with individuals who are delinquent, right? Catch them early and stay with them. And so my friend Simon on Anaconda in Noble, I'll just show you his house. What did he do? Now, he's a doctor, and he owns a double-wide lot, which was a very smart move. And then it has a garage under it because it doesn't have room for a garage in the alley or anything. So the garage is on the basement. The only thing about this is you got to worry about flooding. So you got water flows in and it can flood. So you have to have something that's a barrier that can rise up outside by the sidewalk, preventing water from going down the slope. or a big drain at the top that can accommodate a lot of water. But the whole point is he bought a double wide like my other friend did. And so I don't know what he's going to do with that. He uses it as a big backyard. That's great. A backyard is great recreational space. Now, this is a garage, and they put over the garage like we did on when I lived on Logan. There's a deck on top of the garage so people can hang out during the summer and drink and be outside. And it's a smart move to use, instead of having a roof, remove the roof and put an outdoor recreational deck on top of the garage. So if you don't have backyard space because of the garage, take out the traditional roof and put on a recreational deck. You have to reinforce the garage, but again, it's another way to maximize space. But what did Simon do? He always had two roommates. So he had J. Rowe and he had Mike, and I forget Mike's last name, and then he had another kid, which I don't know. And so he had two roommates. He's a doctor, and he's paying for this house, but he had multiple roommates. He had a 3-bedroom, and so he leased out 2 of the bedrooms. And so 3 people lived in the house, and they had nice bedrooms, and they had, I think, a shared, he had his own independent bathroom, and then the 2 bedrooms shared a bathroom. But he rented it out to 2 roommates. And so, and that roommate income, and they weren't going to be there permanently. It was a short-term arrangement, and that's why Mike moved out and J. Rowe moved in, and other guy moved out and somebody else moved in. But the whole point is, he got reduced mortgage. So he had a big mortgage, but he had 2 renters, and he reduced his mortgage so he can increase his savings and everything. So it's a smart move. Simon's a smart guy, and that was a economical move. And so also he got into a rental business, and I told him to set up a real estate business. If you have Airbnb, instead of writing off on your Schedule A and have this co-mingled, which gives you more liability with renters, set up a rental business, and your renters, even if it's your own house and you live in the common space, 3 bedrooms and that, set up a rental business. And they pay it to the rental business. Why? Because then the cleaning and everything, maintenance is all deductible. But if you don't set it up as a rental business and you lease it out to them, then what happens? You have to eat the cost. You can't write off anything against the money. And so you get these people flying up to a red light, and where's the city of Chicago taking them in for their disciplinary action? Like in Singapore, they take them into the jail and they cane them to give them their disciplinary action because they threaten people with a vehicle. And a vehicle is a deadly weapon, as they know in London, in France, in Germany, and many other places like the Middle East, with all the bombing with the cars. They use the cars as weapons in many ways. So we got to take the incentive of using the vehicle to terrorize. And how do you do that? You have strict discipline. And when you drive like you shouldn't, you get disciplined. And that discipline means you get hurt. Discipline is supposed to hurt you. And if it doesn't hurt you, not where you like it, where it hurts you where you don't like it. So when you discipline somebody, you have to find something they don't like. Not they like, something they hate. And you get them to do that thing that they hate the most. Like if it's cleaning out manure, then you get them to clean up all this poop. You sign them as a person who has to go and work on a ranch like Paris Hilton did and Lionel Richie's daughter did, cleaning up manure. So if they hate manure, you sign them to a place and they're like, this person has to do so much work as community service at your ranch, shoveling manure. You got to find out what they hate the most. They hate the most because that gives them the greatest punishment. So a masochist will only like certain things and pain in only certain ways. There's other pain they don't like, and you find the pain they don't like, and that's how you punish a narcissist. Or not a narcissist, a masochist. And then a sadist likes to punish other people. So punishing them already takes the pleasure out of it. So basic caning works highly effectively. But for a masochist, like they show you in the movie The Boiler Room, he likes being burned by wax and these things. So to him, it's pleasurable. So you have to find something like shoveling manure. Maybe it's not the physical beating, but maybe it's shoveling manure. And they hate the stench and everything, and it makes them vomit, and they hate it. And they got to hate it. I mean, unbelievably hate it. That's punishment. Finding what they hate the most and force them to do it. So, again, you have to find effective punishments. And that's what judges don't get with prison and that. Sign them to places in the prison where they hate it the most. When they do something wrong, sign them to do something that they hate the most. Hate the most. That makes their skin curl, makes them throw up. You want them to see them gag and throw up, and you're like, okay, I got you in the right place. I don't care about your gaggling or your skin curling. That's part of the punishment. I don't care about you throwing up. That's part of the punishment. You're in the right place. Get to work. And if they get used to it and stop that, then you move them, find something else that they hate. But that's effective punishment. Using your head to punish these people, taking away any form of gain, which is pleasure, and making them hate it and pain. Hell on earth is what you're supposed to bring them. Hell on earth. So make it a living hell for them. Find something they consider so heinous doing that is literally hell on earth for them. So truly. And that's effective punishment. So, again, you have to find it. There's all kinds of biomatter in that. Cleaning out, going into insects. Maybe they hate spiders or cleaning up after reptiles. Assign them to the zoo and clean up the insect droppings or the bat droppings. And if they're fear of them, like snakes and that, that's a good place for them to be. That's punishment. They should piss and defecate in their pants as they're doing it. Sign them to the bear cage. Or the lion cage at the zoo. Or get them down there with the sharks at the Shed Aquarium, cleaning up inside the tank. You're supposed to scare the life out of them. Teach them. Put them in their own living hell. So Sandy at the Shed Aquarium, she'd be fine. Like, okay, bring them in. We'll have them go with somebody to clean up the tanks with the sharks. Hey, if you get bit, too freaking bad. You did the crime, and if you don't want the pain, you shouldn't have done the crime. Now, they don't want you to get bit intentionally, but if you get bit, c'est la vie. You can't sue them. The point is to punish you, and maybe the biting is part of the punishment. Because if you didn't do the crime, you wouldn't be swimming with sharks. Or get them to clean up after alligators. Truly. Now, you don't want the alligator to off them, but hey, a bite from them, break their leg, break their arm, it'll be severe pain. But the whole point is the possibility will make them defecate. They be shaking in their boots. And that's the point. It's a come to Jesus moment. And you want to put them in a situation where they have a come to Jesus moment and they never want to go back there. They're terrified. And the point is severe trauma. And it is, truly, the point is severe trauma. So you got to find out how you can make the trauma so traumatic that they don't want to do the crime again. Because you'll end up right back there. And this time, we might take away even more protection and make you more vulnerable. And we might let you bleed for a while after the alligator grabs you. And maybe we'll let the alligator drag you. So, again, making say, you're safer this time, but next time, we're even make it more risky. So, do you want to keep on doing the crime? Because they're supposed to be terrified. A come to Jesus moment is an awakening where they have that epiphany of unbelievable terror. And I've been terrified unbelievably, and I understand. So I'm telling you, it's very effective. So, again, let's talk about, what I was saying with Simon. The renters set up a rental company and do this with your Airbnbs or if you have roommates. And, Airbnbs can do roommates for you. If you don't want to do the work, Airbnbs can get into renting rooms at your house. Like Simon would have just had their roommates go through the Airbnb. Now he's paying them a little bit, but Airbnb is also insuring Simon because Airbnb has insurance and everything else. And so Simon gets the money through Airbnb. And so Airbnb is taking responsibility for the renter. And now it's a third party. Simon's not personally responsible. Airbnb. So if the renter does something wrong, Airbnb holds the liability. And that's why you pay them. So Virgo or Airbnb can get into the renting. So Simon, both of his renters for the rooms could have been renting the rooms through Airbnb. And they can get into rental units, Airbnb. Regular rental units. And you're renting an apartment, like apartments.com can pair up with Airbnb. And they can merge. And they take the responsibility for the renter. And they collect the rent. And so if you don't get the payment from the renter, you don't worry. Airbnb pays you. And Airbnb goes about the eviction process. So it's not you that's doing the bad thing with the renter, so you don't have to worry about locking your door and everything else. The problem is with who? Airbnb. So it's not directly with you. You rented through it, and I have nothing to do with the eviction processes or anything else. That's Airbnb. So if you don't pay them, they do the eviction process. I don't evict you. They evict you. They set up the ground rules. And if you violate the ground rules, they evict you. So Airbnb can work with apartments.com and they can get into rentals, true rental properties. And Airbnb can buy up hotel rooms and rent them out. So hotel companies like Marriott can actually sell rooms in their hotel through Airbnb. So it's not only individual residents. They can work in many categories. It's just a rental service. And so they rent rooms and they can get into puppy places and dog places. Like if you need the overnight stay. And Petco can get into it, overnight stay. And they can work with Airbnb and you rent an overnight stay at Petco for your dog. You're going out of town and the dog is taken care of by Petco. So they have doggy or pet boarding. They can do cats and dogs and birds. Like KJ, she leaves town, she needs somebody to take care of the bird. Now, there's bird sitters, but you don't want them in the house. So you bring it to Petco, and Petco has bird boarding, and they take care of your bird while you're out of town. And they can work through Airbnb that offers pet boarding. So, again, the dog leasher doesn't have to come to you. You can come, the dogs can come to the dog leasher in that case, the dog walker. They can do pet boarding. Walking with what? Working with pet boarding places. Pet boarding places. Dog walkers, all the pet boarding places need people to take the dogs out, so dog walkers can work for pet boarding places. Even Corey, he had a lizard, and he had a leash for the lizard, and he'd take the lizard out of the whatever it's called. You know, it's like a fish tank, but without water for the lizard. Take it out, put the leash on it, and then take the lizard outside and walk the lizard like a dog. Truly, walk the lizard like a dog. Even a cat can be walked on a leash. You know that. You can teach a cat to be leash friendly. So you can put a cat on a leash. You have to train the cat, but the cat will get comfortable walking on a leash. And then at home, you take the leash off. So again, and you can set up those virtual fences with a collar for your cat. So around it, so they can climb fences and everything. So you set up the virtual fence that sets the parameter with the little wire, and it goes to their collar, and the cat doesn't leave your backyard. So the cat doesn't go out. You can even put it in your front yard. The cat can go out the front door. It can go out the back, and they have a little activator on their collar so they can go through the little cat entrance so they can enter and exit through your house. And you can teach a cat to wipe its paws. Dogs wipe their paws. So when you can come in, you can teach a dog to shake and wipe its paws. You can teach the dog to shake itself off outside, and then when it gets inside, to wipe its paws on the mat, just like a human wipes its. And you empty the umbrella and your hat on the outside, and then you walk inside, and you wipe off your feet and everything. You can teach a dog or a cat to do the same thing. So this is all part of training and grooming of your pets. So your pets work with you, you work with your pets, and you can live a great life together. So these are great opportunities. So again, these are great ways these services can expand. This used to be a Starbucks, now it's a Sip and Save on Wabash and Roosevelt. I used to go to the Starbucks here. I don't know what this place, Sip and Save, Savor, and not Save, Sip and Savor the sip. So it's, I would assume, a coffee place. Maybe it's a tea place. But any beverage place can be Sip and Savor. So you can even sip your soup and savor the broth. So anyways, I'm down here in where I used to live off of Grant Park, and they put in all these statues of humans moving around. And I'm going to go up by the lakefront, but I'm going to cut this video and post my thoughts on the YouTube.